people having souls. This particular, like I told you, we're referring to the Restored Church of God's book, A World in Captivity. Now, obviously, their doctrine, and in this book, people do not have souls, they are souls. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, I haven't made up my mind about that. I'm going to be honest. Thus far, the things that I've read, their content and their Bible-based literature, I do agree with, as well as Beyond Today, which is something that I also, outside of the Bible, I refer to. I'm going to be brutally honest with you because I think that's the best thing to do. I'm not really sure how I feel about that. Okay, is it true? Is it not true? Do we have souls? Do we not have souls? We are souls. I don't really know. I'm still learning. I'm just sharing what I'm learning with you guys. So do you guys, I'm going to a call to action, a question even. Do you guys believe that we do not have souls? Do you believe that we are everything within us? We are the souls, not, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. When I read this, I was unclear if I was going to include it, but I think it's best that I do read what they have here and then ask you, what do you think? What are your views on what is a soul? What's your definition of it? So throughout the Bible are references to God's body parts. Did you know that? They show that God has eyes, ears, hands, feet, a mouth, nostrils, arms and legs, etc. In just one location, okay, we're going to prove it to you. Just in one location at Isaiah 59, verse 1 and 2, it mentions his face, his ears, and his hands. And numerous other verses, okay, make reference to the mind of God and of Christ. And there's a reference at Philippians 2:5. Now, humans have all of these same physical attributes, if you will, that God himself possessed, although made of flesh and not of spirit. Now, human beings have been given hands so they can create. Okay, so when we think of paws, claws, and hooves that animals have, they are not capable of doing what we do, which is building complex, let's say for instance, televisions. Even if a mind is directing them, and of course animals have brains, not minds. See, this is a very interesting point that I personally never really gave a lot of thought to, but when I read this here, I said, okay, it makes sense. Now, animals function on instinct, okay? Almost immediately after birth, they know exactly how to function, how to stand up, take steps, and find where to actually get milk. Okay, now babies, human babies, require far longer, okay, to even stand up and have to be actually taught how to do everything. So that harkens back to what we're talking about, that animals function on instinct. Now, human beings are capable of actually acquiring knowledge. Animals do not have this capability. God has actually programmed and created into animals through instinct everything that they actually will need to function effectively within their environment. Okay, now human beings, because we're comparing and contrasting, do not instinctively know everything that they need to know in order to operate, okay, successfully throughout their lives. I can attest to that, okay? So as they grow older and more demands are maybe made upon them, okay, they must acquire ever more knowledge, okay? All of the knowledge that man has obtained can basically, if we had to, fall into two categories. First is the knowledge of how to work with matter and physical things, okay? Second is the kind of knowledge necessary to develop a personal relationship with both God and actually their fellow man or woman, okay? Other people, other humans. All knowledge, therefore, is either, we could say, physical or spiritual knowledge. Now, physical knowledge is acquired through the five senses, okay? You got sight, hearing, smell, touch, and taste. And people understand that they must acquire a certain amount of useful knowledge and keep adding to it throughout their lives. Now, they recognize that they must learn to eat, they must learn to ride a bike, learn to play a piano, hammer a nail, cut the grass, get dressed, drive a car, master one or more skills en route to a career, if they want to have a career, and so many other things. In order to function as an adult, you must it actually requires quite a bit of physical knowledge. Okay, so of course this is not hard to understand. I think we will all agree with that. So most adults recognize that no one can succeed, okay, in life without a certain amount of knowledge. All right, and today people need more knowledge than ever to survive in an ever more complex and changing world. But there's that but there is a big problem, okay, in all of this. The physical knowledge that we have described, okay, and we're discussing actually hasn't been entirely sufficient or the right kind for mankind to be able to solve. We're going back to that. Solve the complex problems afflicting all the nations of the world. And for instance, we are utterly incapable, okay, of achieving world peace. And so the next question is just one word: why? So another question to go along with why is, what knowledge are we lacking? Okay, so we must now examine what no one understands. Now I want you to remember, man is made of flesh. We've already said that several times, okay? But he has another non-physical, critically important component that must be explained. The Apostle Paul wrote, "For what man knows the things of a man, save the spirit of man which is in him? Even so the things of God knows no man but the Spirit of God." And this particular reference is found in 1 Corinthians 2:11. So do not try to interpret this verse. Emphasis on interpret. Let it interpret itself. Accept it for what it says. Okay? This verse identifies two different kinds of spirit: the Spirit of God and the spirit of man. They are not the same. Each provides a different function when we're talking about the arena of acquiring knowledge. Now, human knowledge, the things of a man, is acquired because God has given men a human spirit, the spirit in man. Now, Paul's inspired statement also makes clear that spiritual knowledge, which is the things of God, can only be acquired by the presence of the Spirit of God. Even this very knowledge is in itself, I think you will agree, truly amazing. Now think of it this way. Virtually no one has the knowledge about how either physical or spiritual knowledge is acquired. Now, it is the false doctrine of evolution, okay? We talked about evolution before, that holds scientists and educators as captives, completely unable to understand the knowledge that is just described here, okay? Now, Let's take a look at the book of Job, and it plainly states here